3rd of May 1969 was the initiation of the Artistic Heritage Protection Unit of the Carabinieri, the first police force in the world specialized in the fight against illicit trafficking in works of art. A tireless struggle which has rendered excellent results. From 1969 to date, over 1 million archaeological relics taken out of the black market, more than 500,000 cultural heritage items recovered, and the number of forgeries seized touches 300,000. Breathtaking figures which crown years of relentless battles to safeguard a gallery of priceless masterpieces. Di Mare, 9 o'clock in the morning. A normal day's activities. A Carabinieri helicopter overflies the archaeological area around Rome for an activity of control and prevention directed mainly against clandestine diggers. Frequent monitoring in this way creates a deterrent against the activity of the grave robbers. Since its inception in 1969, the Carabinieri for the Protection of Cultural Heritage, called in short TCP, have operated as a functional branch of the Ministry of Education. In 1975 it passed to the Ministry of Culture, which had just been instituted. This link placed the department at the centre of a network of activities which accompany the more traditional police activities. For years, officials of the Superintendent's, Monuments and Fine Arts Office, university academics, archaeologists, scientists at the National Research Council have worked with the men of the command. The updating of the archaeological maps, for example, a project sponsored and coordinated by the National Research Council, is one of those collaborations. It has led to important scientific discoveries. The necropolis that we are seeing was totally unknown to archaeologists and was identified thanks to the checks carried out by the helicopter. With over 7,000 kilometers of coastline and hundreds of rivers and lakes, Italy conserves underwater a consistent and often unexplored part of its heritage. Day after day, the TPC command has strengthened its presence in the territorial waters, requiring the help of the divers and the motorized patrol boats of the force for the control and the protection of underwater archaeological sites. Following the traditional articulations of the force, the Command for the Protection of Cultural Heritage has made of its capillary presence in the territory a strong point of its activities. In this way, to date, there are 12 units present throughout the national territory, to which there has been the latest addition of a section for eastern Sicily. From Veneto to Sardinia, from Piedmont to Sicily, the territorial units work under the coordination of the Rome headquarters. In the capital, there is also the operative department which has jurisdiction over Lazio and Abruzzo and is involved in large-scale surveys at national and international level. For greater effectiveness, the operations department is divided into 3 different sections: archaeology, antiques, contemporary art and forgery. Data in hand, archaeology is the most fruitful area of investigation, with more than 1 million artifacts recovered. But the Command carries out control and protection activities in every aspect of cultural heritage. Also, the fight against counterfeiting of works of art has registered incredible figures. In recent years, there have been seized hundreds and hundreds of thousands of fakes. While the helicopter patrols in the sky, the control work on the archaeological sites proceeds also from the ground. The terrain is often inaccessible, and the lack of roads doesn't even allow for the access of off-road vehicles, and so one proceeds on horseback or on foot. The reports from the air are checked from the ground. Every new theft is documented and reported. A good example of how the command action makes use of the support of all the components of the force, increasing its operational potential. Due to the richness of its archaeological heritage, Italy has always been plagued by the scourge of illegal excavations. An activity which leads to the inevitable destruction of archaeological contexts and their scientific knowledge. For decades, this scourge has been encouraged by a ruthless international market and an economic flow that has been truly astounding. Suffice it to say that its turnover is estimated to be second only to those of drugs and arms. Thanks to the investigative activities of the Italian judiciary and the TPC Carabinieri Command, the situation, however, has been radically changed in recent years. The criminal system has been reconstructed in its labyrinthine structure and to a large extent dismantled. For the first time, the warehouses of large international traffickers have been opened and searched. Thousands of stolen artifacts have been confiscated, and perhaps more importantly, a considerable quantity of documents has ended up in the hands of Italian investigators. For the first time, thanks also to the consultancy of the officials and archaeologists of the superintendents, it has been demonstrated that some important collectors and prestigious museums around the world had acquired archaeological relics stolen in Italy by means of illegal excavations. And the Ministry of Cultural Heritage and Activities has been able to demand their restitution. For the first time, tens of masterpieces of the Italian archaeological heritage have thus been able to return home. The investigation required years of work and the collaboration of the judiciary organs and the police in many foreign countries, as has never been seen before in this sector. In the face of an increasingly aggressive criminal market which is devoid of geographical frontiers, international collaboration plays a determining role. And Italy, leader in this fight, is an essential point of reference at a global level. Latin America, the Far East, Eastern Europe, Africa. There are many countries which have requested Italy to draw on its experience to furnish specialized departments. Delegations of investigators from the world over come to study and catch up on the latest developments from their Italian colleagues. In these years, the command of the protection of cultural heritage of the Carabinieri has played such a real and true role in formation and training by means of courses, seminars, and programs of joint collaboration. The police forces of Iran, Algeria, the Philippines are the most recent students of the Carabinieri TPC command. The Carabinieri TPC Command has been present for some time on the international scene, but also in military missions of peacekeeping. From 2003 to 2006, for example, the men of the command have been operating in Iraq, where the preservation of the archaeological heritage has required the controlling of many very important historic areas under devastating attack of the clandestine excavators. In this same mission, the Carabinieri have also collaborated in the creation of a local police body to combat trade in stolen artifacts. The successes of these last years have not made the investigators complacent as they pursue their investigations with tenacity. Tomb raiders and merchants, in fact, even though discouraged by the fall in international demand, continue their looting. Even the antique sector records every year thousands of recoveries, but just as many thefts. Under the attack of thieves, the most frequent objectives are the churches and the private residences, often with insufficient protection. And it is to better protect the immense cultural heritage of the church, which today represents absolutely one of the most attacked sectors, that the Carabinieri of the TPC Command have created, on the idea of the President of the Pontifical Council for Culture and on the delegation of the Ministry for Cultural Heritage and Activities, a protection manual specifically designed for churches and their ministers. A book full of information and advice that the Holy See will distribute worldwide. One of the most important invitations contained in the manual is that of cataloguing all items. Without visual confirmation, it is easy for stolen works to disappear forever in the labyrinth of the illicit market. For some time, the Carabinieri have invited the owners of works of art to provide each object with a sort of identity card, the document of the work of art, a summary sheet with photos which will allow, in case of theft, for a surer means of search. In fact, beginning with the 80s, the Carabinieri TPC Command has been equipped with an informatics archive unique in the world. It is the database of cultural heritage unlawfully removed. Constantly updated, it contains information on the goods to be searched for, of both Italian and foreign origin. The data which emerge from the archive computer leave no doubt about the work carried out, and on that which still has to be done. More than 154,000 are the recorded offences against the artistic patrimony, over 5 million objects catalogued, of which more than 1 million proceeding from theft. The images contained in the databank exceed 530,000 units. All this makes of the TPC database of the Command a unique heritage in its field, to the point of pushing 15 states of the European Union into creating the project Psyche. Psyche, the protection system for the cultural heritage, is in fact the creation of a single gigantic database that Interpol operates under the guidance of the Carabinieri Cultural Heritage Protection Command. The project allows for the standardization and automation of the exchange of information on stolen works of art from 15 foreign police commands, from Austria to Sweden, from France to Germany. The database is an essential tool of investigation, especially for those works that are not universally known, like the great masterpieces of art history, and which risk getting lost in generic categories full of apparently undifferentiated objects. How many mass chalices, how many crucifixes have been stolen in these years? How do you distinguish the sought-after object from hundreds of similar objects? For this reason, the works of art are classified by means of multiple parameters of analysis, such as the typology, the material, the date, the place of origin, in a way which allows the investigators the maximum flexibility and timely research. Every day there are searched auction catalogues and exhibitions, scientific publications, museum newsletters and websites, new areas in continuous expansion in the illegal market. It's a research which requires patience and persistence because it's very unlikely indeed that a stolen item will immediately return in circulation, but often perseverance is rewarded. Since 1969, the life of the Carabinieri TPC Command has been marked with striking success and has received many accolades from the authorities for their work over these years. On the 25th of March 2013, the President of the Republic, on the proposal of the Ministry of Cultural Heritage and Activities, awarded to the Command for the Protection of Cultural Heritage the Gold Medal and first-class diploma for its services to culture and art.
Ritira il signor Comandante Generale dell'Arma dei Carabinieri, Generale di Corpo d'Armata Leonardo Gallitelli.
Thus reads the inscription, for the constant and incisive action it has carried out, which by means of meticulous investigative activities conducted on national and foreign territory has allowed in its 43 years of activity the recovery of more than 1,550,000 works of cultural heritage. An immense heritage which could create a museum unique in the world. But it would be of little importance that this museum were formed by celebrated masterpieces or small unknown objects created by great masters or by lesser-known artists with precious or humble materials. What does matter is that the works, which seemed forever lost, return to their places of origin and to the attention of those who do not consider them as merely collection fetishes, but fundamental testimonies to our collective identity. Like family members who return home after a long absence, to continue the dialogue with us, to tell their stories and allow our stories to unfold in reflection. And this is the real treasure that the Carabinieri Command for the Protection of Cultural Heritage has been protecting ever since its creation.